Well, it's another day here at the Red Brick House, and this house has been a learning experience completely. I'm loving the way this house is, but we found out we've got like a really high electric bill for last month, and part of the reason is we're dealing with keeping the old windows and things. So a couple of things that I need to do. I discovered actually with you guys, that I was getting a lot of air actually coming in around the windows here. Last night I ended up plastering this up in here, and now I don't have it. It was literally with the wind blowing out of there. Okay. Sorry, I had to answer a call. But this was one of those places where we were getting a lot of air that was being able to come in because the window weights, this is hollow inside of it, the window weights and stuff that are in there. And we get a little bit like right here around the ropes. So for the rest of the winter, we're just going to go ahead and put a wide piece of weather stripping on top of these just to make them as more energy efficient as possible. But what I also forgot, and this is huge because we opened up this fireplace, which I'm not mad about at all. So when you take a look, here, let me show you. Yeah. That's opened up as well as this one. Now the opening on this one is much smaller because it's a coal burner, but I've got some rigid insulation that I'm going to end up putting up in here for now. We're never going to have a fire in here. I do have this indoor fire burner right here, but that's made to go on your tabletop and doesn't have the fumes and stuff. But we'll put that up in there and put some insulation. You know, using the rigid insulation will help keep any rain or anything off of there. If it does, it'll just be able to dry up as opposed to regular insulation. But we're going to put that in there temporarily. What we'll probably do this springtime is we're actually going to cap it off with a piece of granite on top of it, so that way we won't have the issue of the bricks. Basically what happens, because the bricks aren't being used, the moisture in the bricks freezes and thaws with the rain, and that's why you'll see old houses with the chimneys messed up. It's not a matter of the brick are bad, it's just because they're getting all that moisture. So what's happening, of course, is heat rises. So all the heat from downstairs and up here is literally going up through two chimneys. So that's another one of those things that we're going to do. Also, too, where I was repairing yesterday, the floor joists underneath the screened-in porch, there's not a door there, and there is an opening that goes up under the rest of the house. So again, when that wind comes up over the hill, it's just blowing right through that door. I've got a piece of rigid insulation 2 inches thick right now that I'm going to use. We're going to make a door on there that will have that rigid insulation, which will help keep that air from blowing up underneath the house. And I think all of those things will definitely help the house to stay warmer. You know, right now we're going to have a really bad cold spell starting this weekend. I think it's going to be 9 degrees by Monday night or Tuesday night, and snow. So I want to try and do these things to try and help us to keep her nice and warm inside and reduce the utility bills. So I'm going to get working on that stuff right now. Okay, so for the time being, this is a 2-inch piece of rigid insulation board. I don't have enough time today before I go back to go ahead and make this a whole door, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some 3/4 inch pressure treated plywood, and we're going to actually make a frame on the other side of this, so that way it'll actually sit here flush, and put a hinge on it. We're going to need to dig out around this a little bit so it'll be able to open and close. But right now we've got stops on this. This will help to keep the air. As I'm sitting here and feeling the wind, it's basically coming off the mountains and blowing back up in here. This is literally like a conduit, because when you go back into the back corner over there, there's a space about this wide, you know, about a foot wide, where the pipes and stuff go through there, that basically leads all the way throughout the house. In which case, this air would be able to come through. Even though we got the insulation and stuff on there, it will still chill it. So if we can stop that wind from blowing, I'm believing that it's probably going to help us a couple of degrees. Next thing, dealing with the chimneys. We're going to get those closed up now, and maybe we'll consider getting a glass fireplace door for the fireplace. Okay, so.
Oh no, you don't want to do that.
Yes, I do. Okay, let me, I am terrible with names, okay? Your daughter is like, you were saying, is like her brain moves so fast that her hands can't keep up, so we'll find mistakes.
Yes.
I remember people's faces. I do not remember names. And it's Debbie. It's
Debbie is the oldest
right.
child.
Okay, so Debbie has gone through. And here, we put in here, this is the story of this book, of this house. And we're going through from in here. Oh, I can't wait to go through all of this. Deed from 1823 being the same property which Brown lately built a brick schoolhouse, 2 stories high, 30 feet by 18. Then it goes on. She's done some incredible work. 1863 to 1920 deeds referring to it, the Masonic Lodge. And it was your great, I don't know how many great-grandfathers that we believe is actually the one who ended up building
I would have to
the addition.
count them.
Okay, it's great. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Now, somewhere in here, she describes that there was a summer kitchen. And the summer kitchen, I believe I found the footings for it when I was digging the deck. I think it was all right there where my main post is. So we're learning more and more about this place. And I was going to say that we're going to build a summer kitchen outside because we want to be able to do stuff with the community and all that. And so I'm looking for an old wood cooking stove. And you said your nephew?
We have a grandson-in-law who's a machinist.
And I need doors. I need metal doors made I'm going to make a brick smoker. And so I need to get metal doors made.
He could do it.
He can make
Definitely.
anything. He helps my son out. Anytime my son has, with his glass innovations, a problem and he needs something made,
Then he can make it.
goes to his cousins and gets it made.
And then you can even see, like here, the Battle of Waynesboro. We're right here. And the Union Custer, coming from the north, taking on Early. All this history right here. So we're trying to preserve it and make it great. So we're going to go back through and get some pictures and stuff for Debbie. Debbie, who we did, oh wow, we've got pictures of us even in here in the history. We've got to get this somehow. What's the best way to save this so we don't mess it up?
What do you mean?
I mean, because I know it's in the notebook and stuff in here, maybe laminated or something to keep it pristine.
You can also just ask her to send you a copy of that.
See, that's why I have her. She's smarter than I am.
Real.
She'll send you emails with the, that you can just save it and print it.
Well, maybe she can put this on one of those little
Memory
drives.
drive.
Yeah.
And then he can have the whole book on
There
the
we go.
computer and add it, load it to your computer.
And then maybe get it printed out.
And
We're
print it
going
as much
to
as you want.
Bedford
There we go.
January 28th for a child's birthday, and then again February 10th for
That's gonna be
another
good.
great-grandchild's birthday.
Okay.
We go to Bedford a lot.
Well, I've got plenty of reading to do up on this house. This is going to be really cool. In fact, I need to find out how I can actually made it into a book about this great coffee table discussion. Now, I've gone through and got my 3rd coat of varnish on this piece, so we'll be able to put the plug cover on there. Got my 2nd coat of varnish on the mantle piece right here. So, digging how this is looking. Oh, that reminds me, I need to get my tape measure and measure this so I can know how big to make the H's. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, people, because I had forgotten all about that. So, of course, I don't have a tape measure here on me. Let me get one real quick. Oh, boy. Is there a tape measure in there, honey? No. Guess I better go back upstairs. I know there's one up here someplace. Funny thing is, I have to have, either I have no tape measures or I have a ton of them. Tape measure. And I'll be running around and can't find one, and I'll go to the store and buy another one. And once I come back with it, then I find all the ones that I have all over the place. So let's see, what is the size? 7 by 8 3/4. 7. We'll do is we'll make them. That's 7 1/8. And then we can take a little off of it. 8 3/4. 7 1/8. And 8 3/4. So we'll make those H's and we'll be able to get those on here and see about opening up this fireplace. All right, good people. I'll see you soon.